was one of those days where life throws curveballs. Minor league, but still a curveball, and you still got to hit it. So Randy called us earlier this week and asked for us to bring the jig that we made to set the body on while it's off the chassis. Said it'd be a little bit easier for him to work on, a lot easier to get up underneath it and get to different areas in the car. And most of you don't know, I actually live a little over an hour away from the shop, and I have an everyday car that I drive back and forth to work and to and from the shop, so on and so forth. Well, about 20 miles out, she decided she only wanted to utilize, or she no longer wanted to utilize first, third, or fourth, so I only had one option, and that was second gear. Being so close, I figured I'd just limp it on home. It would have taken longer for Dad to unload the trailer and hook it back up and get to me. By that time I would have been almost home. So I limped it the rest of the way. And for those of you who don't know, driving 30 mile an hour on the interstate, 2-lane highway I-70 is pretty nerve-wracking. But the good Lord was with me, and most importantly, I made it home safely. I had to jump the shoulder. Honestly, I thought I'd fixed the problem earlier in the week. It wasn't throwing any codes or have a check engine light or anything like that, and I thought I had fixed it and made it 70 miles, but she didn't want to go the rest of the way. So, you know, it's going to delay a little bit in the work on the car and time there, but you know, it's a part of it, and you know, we'll get her fixed and get her going. So now we're headed out to Randy's. We went out to Randy's yesterday to take the body off, and with everything going on, I actually forgot the SD card for the camera, so I didn't get to film us taking the body off. But we're headed out there now to pick the chassis up. So we're gonna get you guys out there and get the chassis home, get it cleaned up, and probably do a little welding on the headers tonight. So the important lesson from this life lesson is, you know, life's gonna throw curveballs, whether they're minor or significant. Stay in that box, wait for it to break, and crush it. So without further ado, let's get you guys out there. Alright, it's time for cleanup. It's a mess. Dirty. See how dirty it's gotten since we've been working a little bit on body. It's gotten pretty dirty. We're gonna get her cleaned up because I think we won't have to worry about it getting too dirty again. It's because we've kind of changed up some plans. Actually hoping to paint the car while the body's on instead of taking the body back off again, just due to the fact that taking the tubs out and the trunk pans and everything else would probably be a substantial amount more when it comes to work versus just taping off the inside of the car and actually painting it with the body on the chassis. So hopefully it won't get too dirty again. We're just going to go ahead and get her nice and cleaned up. Now, alright, currently focusing on finish welding all the headers. 304 stainless. Went 304 because of the type of fuel that we're going to be running in the car. 304 is sufficient, and we're utilizing a 308 rod. 045. I'm no professional welder. This is actually my first set of headers that I've done, but we went with the 045 just due to the fact that, you know, I am somewhat new to welding headers, and it's just a little bit easier for me to control and ensure that I'm getting a good fill while I'm welding. But we got quite a bit to weld. We've actually had to piece this. So we've had to piece a couple of these because we got to get to the back side of the weld itself. We're not purging, so we're actually utilizing this solar flux type B, and you mix it with alcohol and it becomes a paste, and you put on the back side where you're going to be welding, let it set up, and then you start welding, which prevents it from sugaring and breaking it down. So when it gets hot during a run or when it is running, there's less potential for it to crack or break or anything like that. So just to save on gas, we decided to utilize the solar flux. One tough part about it is you have to, once you're done welding, you have to get to the back side and clean the paste off, and it leaves like a glassy film. So trying to get that broke out as best you can so it's not flowing through the headers into the turbo is kind of the goal when we're all said and done after the weld's completely finished. But that's where we're at with that. If you look over here, we got quite a bit to weld up. We've done the wastegate tubing, but we still got all the primaries with all the flanges into the collector to the turbos, and then the two exits. So there's a lot of stuff here left to weld. We're gonna have a lot of hours left in it, but we're gonna get it knocked out and move on to the next thing. And when the car gets back here, this will all be done. So that's the goal. And yeah, we'll show you some of the welding process, and hopefully next week or two we can knock it out. So the video got kicked back because I had some background music playing here while we were recording. So I'm just going to do a little voiceover here to kind of inform everybody what's going on. So as you can see, we're putting the powder, the solar flux, in the little mixing container that we got there. And then you're going to add your alcohol to that, and you got to be pretty precise with the amount of alcohol that you add in there so it becomes a nice paste when you mix it up. You'll notice here in the video, after I start mixing it up, that I actually have to add a little bit more. Got to find my brush there. There we go. So I started mixing it. You can see it's a little soupy there, so we actually have to add a little bit more powder in there, and then go back through and remix once again until it gets to that nice paste. You'll see the consistency. It's pretty straightforward. It was okay to add a little bit more for us because we got quite a few joints to weld there, so we were going to use it all no matter what. So just mix it up nicely. You can see there it's starting to become a paste, and then once that gets mixed, you're going to let it sit for a little bit and set up. And what I usually do is, while I'm getting everything ready to weld, is my setup time that I allow. Once that sets up, and you'll go to your joint, as you can see right here. You will see the joint there that we're applying it on the back side. You want to get a nice good coat on there, make sure it spans out pretty good, and that you fill up that joint there as much as possible. Let it set up once again, and then you're good to start welding. And she's dang near looking as clean as she did when we brought her home. Yeah.
Like I said, it's all done except for the rear end.
Yeah, and the floor. We got to get that cleaned back up. But it looked good now. I'm just gonna let you clean it every time it needs to be clean.
What's that?
So I'm just gonna let you clean it every time it needs clean. I know my welds may not look as good as a professional fab shop or somebody who does it for a living, but I'm happy with it and it gets the job done. And you know, it's nice to know that not only did I fab these headers myself, along with my dad, I completely finished welding them as well. So, you know, I'm not gonna have to find somebody to give me assistance if anything would ever go wrong, especially at the track. And most importantly, maybe I can provide assistance to someone else if they ever need help or are in need. So if you're ever in limbo between whether you want to pay to get something done or you want to do it on your own, my suggestion to you is to give it a shot. You'll learn, and who knows, it not just pertaining to welding, but anything in life, anything that you come across and you're between whether you want to do it on your own or not, give it a shot. It'll teach you a lot, and you may learn a new skill. So go for it. God bless.